There are certain books that don't just change what you think, they change the frequency you live in. This is one of those books. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing the 5 takeaways that I've learned from Paramahamsa Yogananda's Autobiography of a Yogi. It's not just a story about a spiritual teacher. It's a transmission. And every time I go back to this book, I feel like I'm remembering some ancient wisdom I've already known, something that my soul already knew. So today, here are my top 5 takeaways from Autobiography of a Yogi, the ones that shape how I live, how I think about science, healing, and what it really means to be a divine human. Whether you've read this book before or you're just curious about what all the reverence is about, I invite you to listen to this video, not just with your mind, but with your heart. Before I go any further, I have to tell you a synchronistic story about how I acquired this copy of Autobiography of a Yogi. Back in 2008, I was living in Las Vegas. A friend, Fernando, had invited me to go to a Buddhist temple and listen to the monks chant. I had never been to a temple before. I was into yoga, and I wouldn't exactly say I was on the spiritual path, but I've always felt like there was something more, always sort of on the brink of awakening mind. So he gave this book to me then, and in it he writes, "Candice, enjoy the book. Even if you don't read it for a while, I'm sure it will bring you much joy someday." Fernando. I never read the book. It's because I wasn't ready, and Yogananda knew that. Since then, I've moved 4 times. 2 of those times have been across country. And if you've ever moved before, you know the first thing to go are books. I don't know how this copy stayed with me, but it has. And I read it at just the right moment when I was ready on my path to take in all of the wisdom and receive all of the beautiful transmissions Yogananda had in store. So let's begin. My first takeaway, number 1, the universe responds to inner alignment, not outer striving. Early on in the book, Yogananda describes thought as force, as real as gravity or magnetism. And this line hits me. This concept really hits me because as a modern woman, a mother, someone trained in science, I've always been fascinated between energy and matter. Yogananda didn't teach manifestation in the way that social media does. Of course, there are some excellent videos out there that help you understand the concept, but it's not about just wishful thinking and thinking things are going to come to you if you think about them enough. No, he's talking about physics, specifically the physics of consciousness. He's saying you don't need to say what you want, but you have to be what you want. And this reminds me of some Neville Goddard teachings about living in the end state, assume the wish fulfilled. So actually being that feeling, actually being the person that you want to be in the now. There's a lot of teachings from Eckhart Tolle about in the now. I mean, he wrote The Power of Now. So we are not our past. We are not what we think we are from the past. We are not what we think we're going to be in the future. Yogananda tells us we are the now. So sink into those feelings. Be who you want to be now. Nobody but yourself is limiting you. Our energy field is constantly broadcasting our beliefs, our emotions, our coherence, and what we attract or don't attract is simply resonance. So when your inner frequency is changing, then you start seeing the shifts change in the external. And what this really means is that the healing work is not done from anything external, no outside sources. It's done from when we turn inwards and we look within and we change that inner frequency. So then through our heart chakra, we broadcast that shift. And for me, this really hit because it's a reminder that we're not here to be constantly striving. We're here to live in resonance and to live at our fullest coherence. Yogananda wrote, "The greater the will, the greater the flow of energy." And that's not about force. That's about alignment. So if you're listening to this video and you're wondering why your outer life feels blocked, look within. The shift you're seeking might not be in your circumstances, but in your vibration too. The highest spiritual practice is self-remembrance. Yogananda spent a lot of his life looking for his guru, Sri Yukteswar. And when he met him, Sri Yukteswar advised him to look within. Sri Yukteswar didn't point out truth. He helped Yogananda remember it. That's the essence of his teaching. We don't need to look externally for signs of God to tell us that we're enough or that we're on the right path. We don't need to be searching for enlightenment or love. We just need to remember that we are the truth. And what I mean by we are the truth is that you are already divine. We've just forgotten. We're bombarded by all kinds of external outlets, songs that get stuck in our head, movies that we want to see, isolating ourselves in theaters or isolating ourselves by scrolling forever on the social media. We're all guilty of it, or signing up for too many things, overscheduling ourselves, our children, etc. This book made me take a moment, different than meditation, but just sitting with this book helped me remember who I am. And that remembering, that gentle peeling back of layers, that's what I call cracking your shell. And I was so inspired by this book that I actually ended up writing a 30-day audio course called Cracking Your Shell. Because of the changes I had felt in myself, I wanted to share them with other people. And there was times that I was on my awakening journey, my spiritual path, that I really wished I had a hand to hold. I really wished I had a guide, and I didn't. So all of the ancient wisdom that I've educated myself on, all of the plant medicine ceremonies that I've participated in, the knowledge and wisdom I've gained from my meditation practice, I created a 30-day course called Cracking Your Shell, which is a journey inward back to the deepest, truest version of you. It's a course that's designed to be done before the house wakes up in the morning for people with busy schedules. It takes less than 20 minutes a day. You will get back to remembering your true self and what all this is for. I help you rediscover what's already inside you and find the stillness beneath the noise. If this sounds inspiring, check out CandiceVoss.com or look in the link below. We're not here to reach for the divine. We are here to remember that we are already it. Number 3, spirituality and science are not opposites. They complete each other, or said better, they complement each other. One of the things that made me fall in love with this book is how Yogananda effortlessly bridged science and spirituality, something I've spent many years trying to do. He spoke of vibration, energy, magnetism, light, long before quantum physics was able to prove any of this. As a nurse and lifestyle medicine practitioner, I've always believed that healing isn't just biological, it's vibrational. Yogananda saw no separation between the two. Take, for example, cymatics. That's the study of sound. There's actually some progress being made right now in the healing of organs where they can take a sound from a healthy vibration of an organ, play it next to an unhealthy organ, and that unhealthy organ will start remembering health, like what it means to be healthy, and it'll start producing the things it needs to get healthy again. You don't need to believe me on that. Look it up, cymatics, cymatics, and organ healing. In his words, the soul's power of thought, when rightly directed, can heal the body, attract success, and manifest divine companionship. Science is simply the language of observation, and spirit is the language of meaning. And when these two things merge, healing becomes whole. When I work with people now, whether struggling from pain, anxiety, or trying to sort out awakening experiences, I remember Yogananda's example. He didn't abandon the world for spirituality. He integrated both. That's what true mastery is, the mind and the field in harmony. And maybe that's why Yogananda's legacy still vibrates today, because he understood God is not against science. God is science, seen through love. 4, The power of the guru is the mirror of divine love. When Yogananda met his guru, Sri Yukteswar, he knew immediately, and he had a sense of homecoming right away. They were both drawn to each other, teacher and student. The relationship wasn't about hierarchy. It was purely about reflection. The guru doesn't give you something new. He reflects back to what you already are. He helped Yogananda remember his divinity. And if you've ever had a teacher, a coach, a friend, or even a child draw you back to your truth, bring you totally to that present moment, then you've felt this energy before. It reminded me that love itself is the guru. Every person you meet on your path, no matter if it's a seemingly positive interaction or a negative interaction, is here to show you another facet of yourself, whether they trigger you, whether they show you love, whether they bring up a new aspect of you. They're all a reflection. They're all here to just show us parts of ourselves. And for when it doesn't feel right and the relationship or the person you meet feels out of coherence, then maybe that's showing you something you need to release within inside yourself. Maybe it's something you need to reclaim. The sacred teacher isn't always the calm monk. Sometimes it's the conflict that brings you back to peace. Sometimes it's the person that triggers you, that allows you to reclaim boundaries and find that inner peace within yourself, to really allow yourself to claim your worthiness. The guru is everywhere, if only you have eyes to see. And that for me was the most humbling takeaway from this book, that love, pure, divine, and reflective, is the real teacher. It's true, Yogananda had Sri Yukteswar, but we have each other, and through each other, the divine speaks. Number 5, enlightenment isn't escape, it's integration. After Yogananda was given the experience of samadhi, which is a blissful meditative state, Sri Yukteswar brought him back to the 3D and said, "You must not get drunk with ecstasy. Much work yet remains for you in the world." That line has stayed with me for years because it's easy to allow spirituality to escape the noise of life and to use it as a crutch and to use all of the techniques that we add to our lives to escape. But really, enlightenment is about being able to bring all of these things into the marketplace, into our everyday interactions, into our parenting, into our relationships, into the way we see the world, how we connect with nature. Enlightenment isn't about disappearing into the clouds. It's about walking the earth awake. It's about sweeping the floor after meditation. It's about answering the phone with love. It's about staying present even when life feels chaotic. To me, that's the essence of a living spirituality. When you live this way, life becomes your ashram. Every meal, every conversation, every breath becomes an act of devotion. That's what Autobiography of a Yogi gave to me. The courage to live my awakening, not to chase it. And if you've already read the book, I hope these 5 takeaways resonated with you. And if you haven't read the book, then I hope you're now curious as to what these transmissions mean. And if you want to go deeper, I would suggest checking out my course, Cracking Your Shell, to see how I was inspired and how it can help you get closer to your truth and stop living in the noise and live your awakening. So even if you're curious, I invite you to check out the course. By the end of the 30 days, you'll feel more alive, more awake to what's going on around you, closer to your truest self, and more empowered than ever before. My greatest takeaway from this book, beyond all other teachings, is that awakening isn't something you achieve. It's something you remember. And this book will help you unlock that. You don't need to go to the Himalayas to find it. Everything you have is right inside you. You can start reading and see what I mean. It's fantastical. It's full of science, knowledge, and it'll bring you on a journey that I'm sure your heart will feel. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this message resonated with you, I'd love you to join me on the journey on my channel, A Minute in the Matrix, where we explore consciousness, coherence, plant medicine, and how to live in this messy, miraculous world awake. Take a breath. Let your heart soften. And remember, you are a living prayer. Thank you and have a stellar day.